My name is Elsie Leistenschneider
And where are you originally from?
from Tijuana, Baja California. It's in Mexico.
How long did you live there?
Till I was 3 years old.
And what made you move to the United States?
My parents,
How did you get here?
they drove across the border and they moved us all here.
Who did you come with?
My mom, dad, and my little brother
Would you choose to move back or to stay here?
to stay here for now.
And what were some cultural differences?
There's a lot of differences in the cultures and the way that I feel like the kids are raised a little bit more strict. In your home, their kids just tend to be a little bit more respectful than they are in the United States. I guess because of so many laws of how you have to raise your kid. So kids just tend to be a little bit more respectful in their homes as well as in the schools.
And for the living environments, what's the difference between here and there?
Things are a lot nicer here. Things are more expensive here compared to there. So I think just in general, you don't have all the smog or like the buildings that are like half worked on, because if the government doesn't have the money, then they just leave it alone.
Mm-hmm.
And here they'll either finish it or demolish it. There's garbage everywhere.
What do you do for a living here?
Here I am a party consultant and I own my own business.
What's your business?
It's called Girly Girl Parties, and we do kids entertainment.
There. Did you have a job there?
No, because I was only 3 years old.
Right. What was the process of becoming a U.S. citizen like?
I didn't become a U.S. citizen until 2002. And the reason for that is because back when I was younger, if I became a U.S. citizen, I would lose my Mexican citizenship, and I wanted to have dual citizenship. The reason for that is because if you own any property in Mexico, you have to have a Mexican citizenship. So the process was just easy. We just filled out paperwork, had to take photos for our passports to have that ready, turn everything in to the IRS, and then they called us for a meeting, and we had a test. We had to study 100 questions. They only asked 10, and then we were called back in to be sworn in. It was actually kind of fun.
Really?
I actually did have fun doing it. It's fun. It was like a big deal. I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's cool. Even though Tijuana is so close to the border, did it have more of the Mexican tactics or the U.S.
Mexican tactics, for sure.
And what was school like there?
I didn't go to school there, so I wouldn't know.
Do you know any, like, the differences in the education opportunities offered there and here?
I don't, because I didn't go to school there. My sister, who is 12 years younger than me, did, and my mom would actually cross the border into Mexico to take her to school. She took her to a private school there, and I just noticed she just seemed to be more advanced in school. And when she finally had to move her back because it was just too much crossing the border, my sister was moved up a grade because she just tended to be a little bit smarter than the kids here.
That's good. Do you feel more safe living here or there?
Definitely here.
And you said it was your parents' choice to move here, and you were 3 years old. What was you probably don't remember the trip.
I do not remember the trip.
If you had to do it over again, would you?
If I had to do it over again, just if my parents had to do it over again the way that it was done, I'm pretty sure they would. I was little, so I don't remember, but if it was in my situation, I would do it.
So you wouldn't really do anything differently?
Nope.
Are there things there that are acceptable that wouldn't be okay to do here? Any big things?
Things there that would not be acceptable here, like spanking your kids is one of them. You don't get in trouble for doing that. They don't make you follow the laws as much as here. Like, you can text, you can talk on your phone, and you don't really have to wear a seatbelt. That's the only things that stand out to me.
So you don't have to wear a seatbelt there?
No. Like if they pull you over and they realize you're not wearing a seatbelt, but like if they see you driving and you're not wearing a seatbelt, the cop's not gonna go out of his way to pull
Yeah.
you over for not wearing a seatbelt. Like here, it's it's the law. You have to wear your seatbelt. Little things like there's no Amber Alert like there we have it here, stuff like that.
Would you move back?
I would move back if, of course, for a good reason. If money was not, if money actually was something that was going to make everything better by living there, I think that would be something to look into as I got older, but I don't have the desire to move back.
And back to the schooling, you said that, you moved here when you were 3, but you moved back.
I moved, when in the 80s, when the economy was doing really bad, my parents had already bought a house and didn't want to lose it. So they rented the house and we moved back to Mexico when I was in the 6th grade. Then we rented a 2-bedroom house. So it was the 4 of us living in a 2-bedroom house. And I still went to school in the US. So my mom would wake us up at like 5:45. And by 6:30 we were crossing the border. And my dad would take us to breakfast every morning and then drop us off at school. And that was Monday through Friday. So he would drop us off. He would go to work. And then my mom's friend.
Did he work in the U.S. or Mexico?
He worked in the U.S. And my mom worked in Mexico. And my mom's friend would pick us up from school, after school, and drive us back to Mexico to my mom's work, where we would spend a few hours and do our homework until she was off work.
So he just did everything to be beneficial for you guys.
Right. And when we moved to the U.S. was because he wanted to go to school and he wanted to work in the U.S. because it was better for the whole family all around. Mm-hmm. And when we moved back to Mexico, it was just they rented out the house so they wouldn't lose it to foreclosure.
Do you have a family now?
I have a family, yes.
And who's in
There's
your family?
My husband and my son.
Would you do the same thing with them if you were?
If I was in the same situation as my parents were, where I knew that moving from one country to another would be beneficial for us, I would definitely do it in a heartbeat. I wouldn't think about it twice. Especially if my child was young, because they're not going to notice the change as somebody who's a little older.
Do you still have family in Tijuana?
Yes, I have my paternal side, both of my grandparents, and my maternal, just my grandmother, and a little bit on both sides. I have some aunts and uncles and cousins, but I do have a really big majority of them living in California.
And you said you'd moved back, so you miss it there?
Even though I lived there till I was 3, and then we moved back when I was in the 6th grade, and I lived there for 2 years before we moved back to get into our home. We were there all the time, because being so close to San Diego, to California, and just crossing the border was literally like 10-15 minutes from our home. It was so easy just to go there, and we were there every weekend almost. It's cheaper. There's just a lot of things to do. I mean, it's a lot different now than when I was growing up. It's not as safe, and there's a lot of things that are no longer there, but I have a lot of good memories from growing up being in Mexico. You would think I lived there because I was there a lot.
Have you taken little Patrick there?
Oh yeah, many times. He even every time we go to San Diego to visit our family, we always cross the border to Mexico because he has to visit his great grandparents, and he loves going out to eat to restaurants up there.
So is the food better here or there?
The Mexican food, definitely 110% better there because it's real Mexican food, not like our Tex-Mex that we have here.
What's your favorite food here?
My favorite food here, it's not Mexican here unless I make it. Here I would say it's probably going to be Japanese or Italian. Those are the two that I...
What's your favorite food in Tijuana?
In Tijuana, I love taco stands. Like, taco stands are my favorite because it's something that I grew up with. Mm-hmm. You don't have the... It's funny because if we had something just like that here, you'd have the health department right there in a heartbeat. But taco stands I love mom and pop, little hole-in-the-wall restaurants. That's are the best. In
California. They're the best.
They're the best. We have, like, really... It's someone's kitchen. You're in someone's home. Mm-hmm. And they put benches and tables, and the lady, like the grandmother or the mom, are the ones cooking for you.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So what do you miss the most?
The fact that it's so calm, I don't feel like you live in a fast pace when you're in another country. It feels a lot slower. You can actually enjoy the day as opposed to living in the US. I feel like we're rushed. Day by day goes by way too fast. That's what I miss about living in another country.
And when you take your husband and your son there, do they like it?
They love it because it's, well, my husband being Latin too, he's from El Salvador. It's different cultures, but it's got a lot of the same. We both speak Spanish. We both have that, that whole little Latin flavor that we like in our food. So they both enjoy it. It's different. And it's nice to go and be around our family that we don't get to see a lot.
Yeah.
So when we're there, it's a whole nother little world in itself.
And so every time you go to California, you get to go there?
Every time.
So it's pretty often.
Yeah, well, not as often as we like it, but
Yeah.
even if
It never
sometimes
is.
we try to do it once a year, but sometimes the most we've gone is 2 years without going.
And overall, do you like it better here or there?
Overall, I want to say I like it better here than